നമഃ പരമഋഷിഭ്യോ നമഃ പരമഋഷിഭ്യഃ. ഹരി ഓം. അന്തരായതിമിരോപശാന്തയേ ശാന്തപാവനമചിന്ത്യ വൈഭവം തന്നരം വപുഷി കുഞ്ജരം മുഖേ മന്മഹേ കിമപി തുന്ദിലം മഹഃ. ഗുരുർബ്രഹ്മാ ഗുരുർവിഷ്ണു ഗുരുർദേവോ മഹേശ്വരഃ. ഗുരുഃ സാക്ഷാത് പരം ബ്രഹ്മ തസ്മൈ ശ്രീ ഗുരവേ നമഃ. ഈശ്വരോ ഗുരുരാത്മേതി മൂർത്തിഭേദവിഭാഗിനേ വ്യോമവദ്വ്യാപ്തദേഹായ ദക്ഷിണാമൂർത്തയേ നമഃ. യസ്യാന്തർനാദിമധ്യം നഹി കരചരണം നാമഗോത്രം ന സൂത്രം നോ ജാതിർനൈവ വർണ്ണാ ന ഭവതി പുരുഷോ നപുംസം ന ച സ്ത്രീം നാകാരം നോ വികാരം നഹി ജനിമരണം നാസ്തി പുണ്യം ന പാപം തത്വം നോ തത്വമേകം സഹജസമരസം സദ്ഗുരും തം നമാമി. സദാശിവസമാരംഭാം ശങ്കരാചാര്യമധ്യമാം അസ്മദാചാര്യപര്യന്താം വന്ദേ ഗുരുപരമ്പരാം. മൗനവ്യാഖ്യാ പ്രകടിതപരബ്രഹ്മതത്ത്വം യുവാനം വർഷിഷ്ടാന്തേവ സദൃശിഗണൈരാവൃതം ബ്രഹ്മനിഷ്ഠൈഃ ആചാര്യേന്ദ്രം കരകലിതചന്മുദ്രമാനന്ദമൂർത്തിം സ്വാത്മാരാമം മുദിതവദനം ദക്ഷിണാമൂർത്തിമീഡേ. വേദാന്താർത്ഥവിഭാസകായ യതയേ ശാന്തായ സന്യാസിനേ നാനാവാദിനഗേന്ദ്രസംഘപവയേ യോഗീന്ദ്രവന്ദ്യായ ച മോഹധ്വാന്തദിവാകരായ ഭഗവത്പാദാഭിധാം ബിഭ്രതേ. തസ്മൈ ഭാഷ്യകൃതേ നമോസ്തു സതതം പൂർണ്ണായ ബോധാത്മനേ. അപാരസച്ചിത്സുഖവാരിരാശേഃ യസ്യോർമിമാത്രം ഭുവനം സമസ്തം ഗുഹാഹിതം തം രമണം ഗഭീരം ചിന്താവിഹീനം ഹൃദി ചിന്തയാമി. ദേഹം മൃണ്മയവജ്ജഡാത്മകമഹം ബുദ്ധിർന തസ്യാസ്ത്യതോ നാഹം തത്തദഭാവസുപ്തിസമയേ സിദ്ധാത്മസദ്ഭാവതഃ. കോഹം ഭാവയുതഃ കുതോ വരധിയാം ദൃഷ്ട്വാത്മനിഷ്ഠാത്മനാം സോഹം സ്ഫൂർത്തിതയാം അരുണാചലശിവഃ പൂർണ്ണോ വിഭാതി സ്വയം. ഹൃദയകുഹരമധ്യേ കേവലം ബ്രഹ്മമാത്രം ഹ്യഹമഹമിതി സാക്ഷാത് ആത്മരൂപേണ ഭാതി. ഹൃദി വിഷമനസാ സ്വം ചിന്വതാമജ്ജതാവാം പവനചലനരോധാദ് ആത്മനിഷ്ഠോ ഭവത്വം. യസ്മാജ്ജാതം ജഗത്സർവം യസ്മിന്നേവ പ്രലീയത്തെ യേനേദം ധാര്യത്തെ ചൈവ തസ്മൈ ജ്ഞാനാത്മനേ നമഃ. ശോണപ്രഭം സോമകലാവതംസം പാണിസ്ഫുരത്പഞ്ചശരേക്ഷുചാപം പ്രാണപ്രിയം നൗമി പിനാകപാണേഃ കോണത്രയസ്ഥം കുലദൈവതം നഹം. നമാമി യാമിനീനാഥലേഖാലങ്കൃതകുന്തളാം ഭവാനീം ഭവസന്താപനിർവാപണസുധാനദീം ചൂടോത്തംസിതചന്ദ്രചാരുകലികാം ചഞ്ചത്ശിഖാഭാസ്വരോ ലീലാദഗ്ധവിലോലകാമശലഭശ്രേയോ ദശാഗ്രേ സ്ഫുരൻ. അന്തഃസ്ഫൂർജതപാരമോഹതിമിരപ്രാഗ്ഭാരമുച്ഛാടയൻ ചേതസദ്മനിയോഗിനാം വിജയത്തെ ജ്ഞാനപ്രദീപോ ഹരഃ. शारदा शारदाम्भोजवदनावदनाम्बुजे सर्वदा सर्वदास्माकं सन्निधिं सन्निधिं क्रियात्। योऽन्तः प्रविश्य मम वाचमिमां प्रसुप्तां सञ्जीवयत्यखिलशक्तिधरस्वधाम्नां अन्यांश हस्तचरणश्रवणत्वगादीन् प्राणान्नमो भगवते पुरुषाय तुभ्यं। हरिः ॐ। पार्थाय प्रतिबोधितां भगवता नारायणेन स्वयं व्यासेन ग्रथितां पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम् अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवतीम् अष्टादशाध्यायिनीम् अम्ब त्वाम् अनुसन्दधामि भगवद्गीते भवद्वेषिणीम्। नमोऽस्तु ते व्यासविशालबुद्धे पुल्लारविन्दायतपत्रनेत्र येन त्वया भारततैलपूर्णः प्रज्वालितो ज्ञानमयप्रदीपः। प्रपन्नपारिजाताय स्तोत्रवेत्रैकपाणये ज्ञानमुद्राय कृष्णाय गीतामृतदुहे नमः। सर्वोपनिषदो गावो दोग्धा गोपालनन्दनः पार्थो वत्सः सुधीर्भोक्ता दुग्धं गीतामृतं महत्। वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं। मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे परमानन्दमाधवं। यं ब्रह्मा वरुणेन्द्ररुद्रमरुतः स्तुन्वन्ति दिव्यैस्तवैः वेदैः साङ्गपदक्रमोपनिषदैः गायन्ति यं सामगाः। ध्यानावस्थिततद्गतेन मनसां पश्यन्ति यं योगिनो यस्यान्तं न विदुःसुरासुरगणाः। देवाय तस्मै नमः। पार्थसारथिरूपेण श्रावयित्वा शुभां गिरं पार्थस्यार्तिहरो देवः कृपामूर्तिः स पातु नः। सत्यव्रतं सत्यपरं त्रिसत्यं सत्यस्य योनिं निहितं च सत्ये सत्यस्य सत्यं ऋतसत्यनेत्रं सत्यात्मकं त्वां शरणं प्रपन्नाः। This time we are starting Bhagavad Gita, Yajna in English for the first time. In this sacred place where great sages have lived, like Chandrasekhara Bharati Swami. We are indeed blessed to listen to Bhagavad Gita sitting in that very spot where Chandrasekhara Bharati Swami or Bharati Tirtha Swami or Mahasanitana Abhinavidyatirtha Swami have stayed, at least for some time. Srimad Bhagavad Gita needs no introduction. Now it is so much propagated taught in schools also. And so many yajnas are being conducted. But again and again, the same Gita must be Gita Sugita Kartavya. It should be again and again meditated upon so that we can absorb the teaching. Sri Shankaracharya says, what is this Bhagavad Gita? Samasta Vedartha Sara Sangraha Bhutam. This is Shankaracharya's words. Gita is the essence, the quintessence of the entire Vedas. Meaning of Vedas, Vedartha Sara Sangraha Bhutam. It is being condensed. The juice of Vedas, the experience or the entire Vedic wisdom, what Veda means. To know that Gita is enough. Studying Gita is studying Veda. And what is the purpose of the whole Vedic study, the Vedic wisdom? Why Bhagavan has given us this Veda? The purpose of this spiritual wisdom or Vedas, Shankaracharya also gives, it is dharma. That's all Shankaracharya's introduction. And what is dharma? It's a word which we very commonly use. Knowingly or unknowingly we say dharma. And even for religion we say dharma. So we have, somebody was translating secularism as dharma nirapeksha. That means a country where dharma is not needed. Dharma nirapeksha means secularism. What they mean is, religion is not considered. For that they say dharma nirapeksha. So dharma means, what is dharma? Praninam yas sakshad abhyudaya nishreyasa hetuhu sadharmaha. So dharma means that which will give you a peaceful, happy life in this world, not a perfect, happy life, as far as it is possible, that is all. A good life in this world, and you know that this world is not enough. You have to have the wisdom of the transcendental, the beyond, the truth which never undergoes change. And that is Nishreyasa. Abhyudaya means this worldly goodness. And Nishreyasa means liberation, spiritual wisdom, the Upanishadic wisdom. So both are contained in the word dharma. And whenever that dharma gets clouded, Lord descends, which is, that shloka is known to all. Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata abhyutthanam adharmasya tadatmanam sirjamyaham. So the entire purpose of Vedas is dharma. Vedo akhila dharma moolam. To remind you what your dharma is, why you are here, what is the purpose of life. Why should we be reminded? Because we forget. That is why when Gita ends, Arjuna says, Nashto mohaha smritir labdha. Now I am reminded. Now I have got back my awareness of the self. Nashto mohaha smritir labdha. Tvat prasadat mayachyuta. O Lord, by thy grace, now I know what is dharma. So the entire purpose of Gita is dharma. The entire purpose of Vedas is dharma. And the purpose of dharma is to make you find the absolute fulfillment, wholeness, purnatva, which knowingly or unknowingly everyone is seeking. Everyone wants happiness. And first we seek happiness in the world, outside. Because that is the only place where we know. Through the senses you see, you hear, you smell, you taste. There you seek. So Gita, Bhagavad Gita starts with, the first chapter of Gita is Vishada Yoga. Shankaracharya has given a beautiful introduction to Gita, where he is giving us what is this Vedic tradition, this Vedic dharma. Before entering into that introduction, we have to know that Bhagavad Gita, that name, which we commonly use, Gita, it is not a complete name. Actually, it should be Bhagavad Gitam, not Bhagavad Gita. When you say Bhagavad Gita, some Strilinga pada should follow. So it means Bhagavad Gita, what? Upanishad. Iti Srimad Bhagavad Gita Su Upanishad. So Gita is an Upanishad. So it has the same purpose of the Upanishad, to make you know that you are not a limited human being, you are the deathless self. And according to Vedanta, to know the self is liberation. To realize the self is liberation. The Upanishad says, Tamevaikam janatha atmanam anya vacho vimunjatha amritasyesha setuhu. Know the Atman, the self, and give up all other engagements, all other talks. And this is the direct road, direct bridge to immortality, to freedom. Tamevaikam janatha atmanam anya vacho vimunchata amritasyesha setuhu. Setu means bridge. So Gita is also an Upanishad which tells you, know who you are, know the self. Krishna says, Arjuna, don't mistake me to be this body. I am the self within you. When somebody asked Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi, which is the verse which you like most in Bhagavad Gita? First Bhagavan Maharshi said all the verses. They again compelled him to give one single verse which he liked most, which he preferred. Then Maharshi said, Aham Atma Gudhakesha Sarvabhutashaya Sthitaha Aham Adischa Madhyamcha Bhutanam Antayevacha. O Arjuna, there Lord is calling Arjuna as Gudhakesha. Gudhakesha means in a satsanga that should be the name with which the speaker should address the listener. Gudhakesha means one who has conquered sleep. Gudakayaha Ishaha. Gudaka means sleep. So Arjuna has done, he did so much tapas, conquering sleep. So he got that name. So too a spiritual seeker, a seeker who is seeking, who is after that ultimate truth. Who knows that this world is not real. It is constantly deceiving me. Constantly changing. There is so much suffering which I cannot conquer with all my abilities, with all my faculties, with all the scientific development. We have failed. With all the comforts, in a comfortable room you are suffering. And suffering is there for the healthy people also, rich people also. Even prosperous ones, they also suffer. Poor people, they also suffer. Knowledgeable people, they also suffer. Ignorant people, they also suffer. So suffering is there. It is something which is universal. In America, there is suffering. In Somalia also there is suffering. So suffering is something which is universal. That is what Buddha also said. There is suffering. He was born as a prince and he said, what is the use of becoming a king? Because even after becoming a king, I will have the same problems which a beggar will have. Yadi janma jara maranam na bhavet, yadi cha ishtaviyoga bhayam na bhavet, yadi sarvam anityamidam na bhavet, iha janmani kasya ratir na bhavet. Suppose if there is no birth or death or old age, or the fear of dear ones leaving me, those whom I love, that is something terrible. Everyone knows that they are going to lose someone. That fear is always there. Ishta viyoga bhayam na bhavet. Yadi sarvam anityamidam na bhavet. Everything is anityam here. So there is no question of having delight in this world. So I have to find out a solution for this suffering. So Buddha said, there is suffering and there must be some solution. So he sought nirvana. Buddhism came only later on. In Buddha's period there was no Buddhism. That is why Swami Vivekananda said, my religion is that to which Buddhism is a rebel child and Christianity is and Islam are offshoots. So Buddhism was only a part of Hinduism during the period of Buddha. So he also sought a solution for this suffering, this pain. If suffering is not, so many people would not be here. Na dukkham dukkhaya syad iti shruti matrigihi. There is a verse which says, dukkham na dukkhaya. That sorrow, that dukkha is not for dukkha, it is for goading you, pushing you towards the higher spiritual plane. To make you recognize that something higher is there. Not simply eating, sleeping. You come to know that suffering is there, dukkha is there, and I want to release complete freedom. How to get that complete release, freedom, nirvana? People think that nirvana means only Buddha spoke about nirvana. Before Buddha, Bhagavad Gita says Brahma Nirvanam. So that word is already there. So when you see that there is suffering, you seek a release, you seek freedom. And the Upanishad says that freedom is already within you. You are not paying attention. You are not turning your mind inward, so you are not able to recognize it. The mind is always going out. So what is within me, what is in my own heart, waiting for my attention for innumerable lives. For many, many lives we were ignoring it. For that we need a guru who comes outside and tells you, look within. The inner being appears as the outer guru and tells you, look within. See, Arjuna did not recognize it. Arjuna thought Krishna is his friend. Only after Vishwarupa Darshana, Arjuna said, Sakhegati matva prasabham yaduktam. Hey Krishna, hey Yadava, hey Sakheti. I thought, Krishna, you are my friend. But in Bhagavata, Uddhava says, when Krishna was teaching, giving him the highest knowledge, Brahma Vidya, Uddhava tells Krishna, Lord, I am seeing you both within me as the consciousness and as Krishna outside. From outside, you are giving me the knowledge, and from within me, you are recognizing, knowing it, experiencing it. Acharya Chaitya Vapusha Swagatim Vyanakti. So Uddhava was a mature disciple. In Bhagavad Gita, we say Parthaya Pratibodhitam. In Bhagavata, when Krishna is teaching Uddhava, Bhagavataya Bhashitam. There, the teaching was given to Parama Bhagavata, a great devotee. So, Lord, without any restriction, Krishna tells Uddhava, you give up everything and go. Go to Badrikashrama and meditate and realize. But to Arjuna, he was very conscious. Because Arjuna was already, he was having a ochre robe in his bag. Ready to go. Bhagavan said, Arjuna, you will go with a kashaya, come with Subhadra. You did that. Before also you did that. So you are not qualified to be a sannyasi. Karmanyeva adhikaraste. You have only adhikara to be a karma yogi. In the Bhashya, Shankaracharya comments, na jnane. Karmanyeva adhikaraste. You have right only to do karma yoga, not for jnana yoga now. But listen to jnana yoga. Know what is jnana. Because Bhagavan knows the maturity of Arjuna. After listening Bhagavad Gita also, Arjuna forgot. So even if you forgot, I am not bothered. Because Arjuna also forgot. One day in Mahabharata, Arjuna was going with Krishna for an evening walk. It is there in Mahabharata, where Arjuna is asking Krishna, hey Krishna, that day during that Kurukshetra war, you remember, you taught me something. ஏதோ பேசினேன். எப்படி இருக்கும் பகவானுக்கு? So that day, Lord, you taught me something, but I have already forgotten it. Kindly repeat it again. See, sometimes these devotees are also very peculiar. They think that this giving talks on Gita is like a kacheri, music concert. So they will ask, I heard that you are giving talks on Bhagavad Gita. Yes, please talk. It's like a performance for them. So Arjuna is asking Krishna, please speak. Bhagavan said, it is impossible. Why? Because that Arjuna is not here. The Arjuna who asked for Gita with his whole being, the Arjuna who was shattered by sorrow, who was thirsting for that higher knowledge, he is not here. Now he is, after taking some tea or coffee, asking for Bhagavad Gita, evening walk. So Bhagavan said that Krishna will not come again. Only if that Arjuna appears, manifests, Krishna also will manifest. Without that Arjuna, again that Krishna will not come. It is impossible for me. The Guru has no power. It is the seeker, it is the disciple's maturity, thirst, which makes the Lord manifest in the heart of the Master. If there is bhakti, even this pillar can teach you. Because the Lord appeared in the pillar. Vidyaranya Swami in somewhere in Panchadashi says, even a tree can give you Brahma Vidya, provided you are a real disciple. The tree can become a teacher. But if you are not mature enough to receive it, even the greatest Guru cannot give you that wisdom. Harir yadi upadeshtate Shiva Kamala Sambhavaha Tathapina Tavaswasthyam Sarva Vismarana Dhrite. This is a beautiful verse in Ashtavakra Samhita. Even if Vishnu is teaching you, Brahma is teaching you, Harir yati upadeshtate Haraha Kamala Sambhavaha. That Shiva or Brahma, even then you will not become swastha. Because you are holding to your own memory, your own mind, your own thoughts, your own habits. You are not ready to surrender. Listen. So Arjuna, when he forgot, then he was alarmed. Because when Krishna said, I cannot give you Bhagavad Gita again, Arjuna said, Lord, then I am lost. Because I don't remember anything. Whatever you taught you, I have forgotten. And now you say you also don't remember. Lord said, Arjuna, it is not that I don't remember, I never forget. This remembering, forgetfulness are all for the brain only. You only have a brain, I don't have a brain. You have intellect, I have only intelligence. You have the wave, the bubble, I have only the ocean. So you need intellect, I don't need intellect. Because intelligence is all-knowing, it is omniscient. When a thirsty disciple appears before a master, the Vijnana Megha will start pouring forth. The cloud of intelligence will make a downpour. Dharma Megha. Shankaracharya says, Vijnanamritam adbhutam varishati nijavacho dhara viraraditam chetaschataka chenna vanchasi trishakrantosi suptosi kim. So, here Arjuna, when he said, Lord, I have forgotten, what will happen to me? Bhagavan said, don't be afraid. Don't be alarmed. Because you know, on that day, in Kurukshetra, when I transmitted this Gita Shastra to you, I was not giving this knowledge to your brain. I was not expecting you to understand. I was only transmitting that Gita from my heart to your heart. It is there. It is not possible for you to ignore it, to lose it. Only thing is you are not remembering, that is all. It does not matter. Sahi dharma suparyapto brahmanav padavedane. This is Bhagavan's words. Bhashyakara also quotes it. Sahi dharma suparyapto, that Brahma Vidya which I taught you in the battlefield, it will see to it that you will ultimately attain that supreme knowledge, that complete freedom. Even if you forget for the time being, you have forgotten because you have some prarabdha to suffer. You know, that is a shastra. Why after listening to many satsanga, many people say that we are able to understand, but we are not able to sustain it. Why it happens? The cause is we have prarabdha to suffer. Because if you remember this knowledge, you will not suffer. In Bhagavatam, in the Prathama Skanda, there is a reference. I am just giving you a general introduction to Bhagavad Gita. What have happened around Bhagavad Gita. Arjuna comes back after Krishna's Vaikuntharohana. Krishna, after completing his avatara, he returned. So he comes back and weeps. Shokena shushyad vadana hirt sarojo hata prabha. Vyasa says, he comes back and falls before Dharmaputra, Yudhishthira, and tells him, brother, Lord has cheated me. Vanchidoham Maharaja Harina Bandhurupina. Hari has cheated me because I thought he will be always available. I thought whenever I have a problem I can go to him and ask. But now he has disappeared, leaving me with nothing to hold. I have nothing to hold. I cannot ask him for a clarification. I cannot ask him for a help. I cannot pray to him to help me from some problem. Now he is no more here. All the Yadavas are gone. And after weeping, recollecting all the incidents that have happened between him and Krishna, ultimately Arjuna just falls down. After some times, he wakes up and slowly his mind becomes clear, and suddenly from somewhere within there was a clarity, there was peace. See, amidst that sorrow, amidst that tremendous suffering, Arjuna feels a tremendous peace arising within him, and he again hears Krishna's voice, avajananti mam mudhaha manushim tanumashritam. Only fools take me to be this physical form. I am the inner self. Vishoko brahma sampatya samchinna dvaita samshayaha Lina prakritihi nairgunyad alingatvad asambhavaha. Arjuna attained that Brahma Sampatti, that knowledge of Brahman, and whatever Lord taught him in Kurukshetra again came to his mind. He forgot because of Kala Karma Tamoruddham. All this period he was not, for the time being he did the fighting. But he did not again remember Gita and become a Brahmajnani, because he thought Krishna is always there. He was holding to Krishna's outer form. But when that form disappeared, he had nothing to hold. Then he was compelled to hold to that vidya, that knowledge, that jnana. So then Arjuna said, Lord, now I know that you are my inner self. You are not the body. I can never lose you. You are always within me. You are my inner self. Samchinna dvaita samshayaha. That dvaita, that duality. All the doubts ended. Clinging to all the multiplicity also came down, and he was completely at peace with himself. This happened when Krishna disappeared. Geetam Bhagavata Jnanam Yattat Sangrama Murdhani Kala Karma Tamoruddham Punaradhyagamat Vibhu. So, you have to remember one thing. If you forget Brahma Vidya, if you forget what you receive from a satsanga, be sure that forgetfulness is one force of Maya, and it is activated because you have prarabdha to suffer. Because if that Vidya is active, you will not be able to suffer. So, the power of Maya makes you forget. So, when you forget, you identify yourself with this limitation, this body, and that is enough for you to suffer. So, this Gita Shastra was given to Arjuna, not to... I was making a difference between Arjuna and Uddhava. From there only we made a side track. So Uddhava was a very mature disciple. To him, directly this experience was handed over. But why Lord selected Arjuna? Because Arjuna is a representative of all of us. He asked doubts. He is not very strong inwardly, but at the same time very intelligent. He is an ordinary human being, and he is a representative of a human being who suffers. Suffering is there for a human being And when that suffering becomes intense, only then you seek help. Arjuna did not ask Krishna to teach him till they appeared in the Kurukshetra Bhumi. Before that, he asked many things. He asked, can you become my driver, charioteer? Krishna said, yes. Many other things also they had. But never did he ask, Krishna, teach me the knowledge of the self. I surrender to you. It happened only in this picture. Lord also never even casually said, Arjuna, today we will have a satsang. No. He was just playing with Arjuna. Whatever he wanted, Krishna gave him that. Naprishte kasyachit bruyat. This is a law. According to our Shastra, you should not give this Brahma Vidya to a person without asking, without praying for it. Tad vidhi pranipatena pariprasnena sevaya. Lord himself tells, a disciple has to approach the master with humility, fall at his feet, with devotion serve him, and then after some time ask him to teach. Ask him and take this knowledge. Because without that humility, without devotion, this jnana will not go within. Because this arrogance is like an iron door. It will not permit the knowledge to enter. I know. So this Brahma Vidya cannot be transmitted in a class, academically. It has to go from the heart to heart. And Bhagavad Gita is Brahma Vidya plus Yoga Shastra. Srimad Bhagavad Gitasu Upanishatsu Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastre. It is also Yoga Shastra. Yoga Shastra means practically to implement it in your life by experiencing it. We will see in Gita what is Yoga Shastra. Yoga means many things. In Bhagavad Gita, simple definition of yoga is dukkha sanyoga viyogam. Yoga relieves you from your contact with suffering. Dukkha sanyoga viyogam. Sanyoga means contact. You have made a contact with suffering. Naturally you have no suffering. By your nature, நம்ம இயல்பு அப்படிங்கிறோமே தமிழில், natural. In your real being there is no suffering. In you there is no suffering. If suffering is real, no Shastra can remove it from you. வாஸ்தவமா துன்பம் இருக்கானால் சாஸ்திரத்தால் எடுக்கவே முடியாது. ஏன்னா எது இருக்கோ அதை நிவர்த்தி பண்ணவே முடியாது. If suffering is real, if it is there in yourself, no Shastra, no yoga practice, nothing can remove that suffering. Because it is real, it is your nature. But fortunately, there is no suffering in our real self. How do we know that? Simple sample is deep sleep. Every day in deep sleep, you experience that there is no suffering in you. On the day of the greatest calamity in your life also, when you go to sleep, there is no suffering. If you wake up when the mind arises, it comes in contact with suffering. But in the heart, when you sleep, there is no suffering. When the body, mind and the world are there, suffering is there. When the body, mind or the world, they are not there, suffering also is not there. But in deep sleep, you are very much there, but suffering is not there. That shows that in you there is no suffering. Not only suffering is not there, but happiness is there, fulfillment is there, sukham is there. You wake up and tell, there was sukham. I want to go back. That is the universal wish. Anyone who wakes up from sleep, from deep sleep, their wish is to go back to that state. I want to go back. Sukamahamaswapsam nakinchidavedisham. There was sukham there was happiness. And where does that happiness come from? How did you get happiness in deep sleep? Did you see something? Did you hear something? Did you hear some music or see some film? Touch something or taste something? There was no operation of the senses. The mind was not active. Even the ego, the personality which you hold on to was not there. But that gave you a completion, a fulfillment. That is why anyone who wakes up from deep sleep, he will prefer to go back. This is the simple sample which Vedanta gives. Shankaracharya, when he went to Govinda Bhagavad Pada asked him, who are you? You know that verse, Dasha Shloki, Nirvana Dashaka. When Govinda Bhagavad Pada asked him, who are you? Shankaracharya said, Na bhumir natoyam natejo navayuhu nakham nendriyam va natesham samuhaham anaikantikatvat sushuptyeka siddhaha tadeko vasishta shivah kevaloham. I am not this body which is made of 5 elements: earth, water, fire, air and space. I am not this Panjabhutatmaka Sharira. I am not this body. I am not this mind. This body and mind, they are not permanent. Anaikantika. They are not always there. I am the existence which is even there in deep sleep. Sushuptyeka siddha. In the deep sleep state, when the body was not there, when the mind was not, this existence, easiness was there. I am that existence, that Sadvastu, that Shivam, which is deathless, which is Purna. That Shiva Kevaloham, that Shivam means auspiciousness, truth which never undergoes change. That is me, said Shankaracharya. So the deep sleep gives you a clue that what you are seeking is within you. Right? Now we can proceed. The entire Veda is like a mirror. The Upanishads are like a mirror which is kept before you, which wants to tell you how you look actually. The usual ordinary mirror will show you how you look now. If you go before a machine which can tell you what is within you, which can show you, like scanning machine or X-ray, which shows your liver, your kidney, your heart, which is ordinarily not visible to you. That is possible. But Upanishad is a mirror which shows you how you look actually. You know how it shows you? It shows you that actually you don't have a body. It tells you you don't have a mind. It is giving you the knowledge you don't have a prana. That is why when devotees asked Ramana Maharshi, the mind is so turbulent, Bhagavan, what should we do? Maharshi, he was a pramanika chakshu. He said, where is mind? Show me mind. From the standpoint of the devotee, there is a turbulent mind in him, a chaotic mind, which is giving him so much trouble. But when he goes before the master and tells him that the mind is giving him so much trouble, master, without paying heed to the complaint of the disciple, master is telling him there is no mind. When you read it in the book, you will feel this is very impractical. Because this person is having an actual problem, he is going to the Guru and tells him that I have a problem. The patient goes to doctor and says, I have stomach pain. The doctor tells him, there is no stomach. How? See, somebody asked Swami Vivekananda, you say that we are Brahman. But if I am Brahman, how is that I am having a headache? It's such a foolish question. Vivekananda said, if you know that you are Brahman, then you will not be having a head. Then how can you have a headache? So, when one devotee went to Bhagavan Maharshi and told him that my mind is so turbulent, Bhagavan said, there is no mind. When we read it, we will think that it is so impractical. But that devotee, when the master told him there is no mind, for the time being, he felt that there is no mind. How is it possible? How is it possible? See, when you are walking in dim light with an elderly person who knows the path very well, suddenly you see a serpent, a snake, the common example in Vedanta, and you scream, snake, snake. And that old man tells you, don't be afraid, it is a rope which I have put there. Or it is an hose, water pipe. Don't be afraid. That very moment, you know that that person knows, so that very moment that fear goes. You have not seen that it is not a snake. The illusion that it is a snake happened to you, but the illusion was removed not by your seeing that it is not a snake, but by the Pravachanam. The person who knows, who has walked that way up and down many times, he tells you there is no snake, it is a rope. That very moment you are convinced because you have faith in that person. That person have no ulterior motive in misguiding you. He loves you. He wants to help you. So you have so much confidence in him. So when he tells you that there is no snake, only a rope, that very moment, without even looking at what is there, you just walk over. Yeah. You know there is no snake because he has told me. In one of the verses, we have heard many of the verses of Shankaracharya, Shivoham, Shivoham. But in one place, Shankaracharya has written one verse where the disciple says, Deshikoktya Shivoham. The disciple is telling that I don't know I am Shiva, but my master tells me I am Shiva, so I am Shiva. Because he knows. Does not matter whether I know or not. What does it matter? My intellect is so immature, so insignificant. My master knows. So he tells me that I am Brahman, so I must be Brahman. That is the power of Aptavachana. When the Guru tells, when a master with tremendous power of Anubhuti, he tells the disciple that you are Purna. அதனால் நம்ம சம்பிரதாயத்தில் எப்பவுமே சொல்லிகிட்டே இருப்போம், க்ஷேமமாக இருக்கணும், சௌக்கியமாக இருக்கணும். The Guru again and again, all the great people, they will say க்ஷேமமாக இருக்கணும். Our Acharya, Bharatitirtha Swami, whenever devotees, I have seen many times, they will not even ask for blessing. They will simply do namaskaram, பரிபூர்ணமாக ஆசீர்வாதம் பண்ணுறேன். இன்னும் ஆசீர்வாதம், பரிபூர்ணமாக ஆசீர்வாதம் பண்ணுறேன். The sage has to again and again utter what is truth. That is pramana. Not what you see or what he sees. We see water, but science says it is oxygen and hydrogen. But nobody has seen oxygen and hydrogen. No one has seen. But the scientist accepts that it is oxygen and hydrogen, and with that, when they implement it in some experiment, it works. Like that, the Upanishad tells you that you are the self, you are the Atman, you are Brahman, you are not the body. If you are the body or mind, even Ishvara cannot remove your suffering. Ishvarena pi, says Shankaracharya in one place. Because he himself has created it. So if you are only this limited body, if you are only this limited mind, you are born with suffering. It is your genetic problem. Nobody can remove it. But the Shruti tells you, as I told you, it shows you the mirror in which you can look at yourself bodiless, mindless, aprano hi amanaha shubhraha aksharat paratah paraha. You, when you look at the Shruti, when you look at an enlightened master who gives you that Shruti Vachana, he tells you that you have no problem. In Kaivalya Navanitam, it's a famous verse in Tamil. Unnai ni therindayagil unakku or kedum illai. If you know who you are, you will realize, you will recognize that you are perfect, you are whole, you are Purna. The only problem is ignorance, ajnana. And to remove that ajnana, there is only one medicine, one remedy, that is jnana. That remedy you have to take, remove this ignorance, and that remedy, that jnana, is Upanishadic wisdom. Which shows you that you have no suffering now. It is not through time. slowly, after many lives, The Upanishad tells you, if you know who you are, then you will know that you had no suffering in the beginning, in the past, you have no suffering in the present, you will not have suffering in the future. Trikala abadhyatvam. In your real nature, you will know that you are ever eternally free. Purna. So to show that Purnatva, a mirror is held before you. If you hold on to your body and mind, your personality, that mirror will not show you anything. That is why in Aksharamana Malai, in Tamil, Bhagavan Maharshi sings, Mukkilan Mungattu Muguram. If you show a mirror to a person whose nose is mutilated, what will he find? He will find his face looks ugly. Like that, a person who is not ready to receive the Shastra, when he listens to Shastra, he will find, I am not all right. One of my friends, he said, after listening to you many times, I have started reading Gita. I did not understand much, but somewhere in the last portion, 16th chapter, my own experience is narrated. It's all speaking about me. I asked him, what is it? He said, Tamoguna. All sleep, dullness, laziness, sluggishness, everything is spoken of. Then I found Gita is speaking about me. When Ramana Maharshi heard Upanishads, he said, Upanishad is speaking about our own story. Like that, this person was telling in another way, he tells, Gita is speaking about me because it is describing how a person of Tamoguna will look. So that is Mukkilan Mungattu Muguram. You have to look at the mirror with a prepared mind. It is a magic mirror. Bhagavad Gita is a magic mirror. Upanishad is a magic mirror. A realized master is a mirror. You go before him and you will see that you are not what you take yourself to be. You are not this limited human being. As you have to know, Vedanta Shastra, before entering into Gita, you have to know that it is Brahma Vidya, and Brahma Vidya means it is about me. It is going to show me what I am. It is going to remove suffering entirely. Bhityate hridaya grandhi chidyande sarva samshayaha chiyande jasya karmani tasmin drishte paravare. It will just root out the suffering, root out all doubts, disperse all doubts. It will cut asunder all the knots of ignorance. It will completely make you free, provided you are able to listen with your whole being. With the right attitude. The attitude is, you are listening like a chataka bird which is waiting for the raindrop to fall. Hamsa Padmavanam Samichhatiyata Neelambudam Chatakaha Kokanadapriyam Pradidinam Chandram Chakorastata Cheto Vanchati Mamakam Pashupate Chinmarga Mrigyam Vibho Gaurinatha Bhavat Padabja Yugalam Kaivalya Saukhya Pradam, says Shankaracharya. So like a Chataka bird waiting for the rainwater, you wait with your whole being, thirsting for complete release of suffering, because in the introduction, Shankaracharya says, the purpose of Gita is samsarasya atyanta uparama lakshanam jnanam. Many people think that Gita is for business management. One boy, he was studying in some school where they were teaching Bhagavad Gita. I asked him to chant. He said, I know 15th chapter. He said, chant. He started, Urdhva Moolam Adashakam. He started. Then I asked him, please chant the 14th chapter. He said, that was last year's syllabus. So over. Gadam gadam sarvam upekshaniyam. See, that way it will not go within. They think that Gita is for competition. Gita competition. Now bhajana also is competition. Classical music competition. Tyagaraja, many people, they think that Tyagaraja wrote all these verses with so much bhakti for these people to sing in competition and win prize. So Bhagavad Gita, the purpose of Gita, Shankaracharya says, samsarasya atyanta uparama lakshanam jnanam. That jnanam which will make samsara. Samsara means suffering. It means dukkha. It means shoka. In any form, it will completely root out. It will completely remove suffering in any form from the heart. Atyanta uparama lakshanam. Completely it will make the suffering subside. It will annihilate sorrow. Samsarasya atyanta uparama lakshanam jnanam. So that is Bhagavad Gita according to Shankaracharya. And it is samasta vedartha sara sangraha bhutam. It contains the entire essence of Vedas. And Gita starts with Vishada. All the Adhyatma Granthas, at least Bhagavad Gita is better. Someone was asking me why it starts with Vishada. It starts only with Vishada, but Bhagavatam starts with death. Curse that you will die in 7 days. It's more terrible. Bhagavad Gita at least only mood off. Temporarily Arjuna had a mood off. He just said, I am not going to fight, that's all. That was only temporary. So Vishada, Bhagavad Gita starts with Vishada, and that Vishada got transformed, transmuted as yoga. See, anything can become a yoga. Yoga means you become one with something. You are holding to something which gives you suffering. If you are separated from it, suffering also ends. One person was standing on the bank of a river. He saw a blanket moving in the waters. He jumped and caught hold of that blanket and started screaming, help me, rescue me. And people who were looking at this person from the banks, they said, you only jumped, swam all your way to take that blanket, and now you are screaming. He said, I cannot escape, please rescue me. He was screaming. One person said, leave that blanket and come back. You know how to swim. He said, I have left it long back, but it is not leaving me. It was a bear. He thought it was a blanket. Thinking that it is a blanket, he went and caught hold of it. But the blanket started holding him. He could not relieve himself and come back. Like that, you have got yourself entangled with something which gives you suffering. You yourself got involved. Now you scream, help me, rescue me. Bhagavan did not tell Arjuna to take vow that I will kill Karna. Bhagavan did not tell Yudhishthira to declare war. Janamejaya asked Krishna. That is a story in outer Mahabharata books, Jaimini Bharata, where Janamejaya was asking Krishna, Lord, why you did not help my great-grandfather, Yudhishthira? You could have helped him to win that game of dice. Krishna said, I would have done it. See, that Duryodhana was very clever. He said, I do not know how to play dice. So my mama, my uncle Shaguni will play. Why? Dharmaputra also could have told that I do not know to play well, Krishna will play. I was waiting for it. But he didn't allow me to play. He played himself and got caught. He could have given me a chance. I would have done it. There itself I would have finished all these stories. But he didn't allow me to do that. So, Krishna never told them to declare war, to play the game of dice. All those things they themselves they did. They took all the shapatas. I will kill this man, I will kill that man. And when they came to battlefield, then only the result of this war, what will happen after a battle, came to Arjuna. The destruction, the mass annihilation, the chaos that will follow, the calamity that will occur in society. See, in Gita, in one place Bhagavan tells Arjuna, you are the most uncivilized race of Kshatriyas that were ever been in this earth. That is why father is standing here, son is standing there, uncle is standing here, nephew is standing there with bow and arrow, with terrible weapons. And all the scientific developments which we are seeing now is being depicted by Vyasa there. Simply by cutting some mamsa, 100 Kauravas. They were all born from mere flesh. No love, no father, mother, nothing. Simply from pot, Vyasa put some flesh of Gandhari there. And from that mamsa pinda they were born, so no conscience. One person becomes fool, and all the 99 follows. The result is this great war, this battle, colossal destruction. On the verge of it, on the brink, Arjuna collapsed. That is what we are going to see. Arjuna tells Lord, I am not going to fight, I will take sannyasa. Everyone is waiting for him. Now he has to take weapon not to fight, but at least to protect some few good souls. That is the only thing that he can do. Fighting in any form is bad, but this Kshatriya's weapon is for protection, that's all. In Ramayana, when Rama is moving with bow and arrow in the forest, there is a beautiful conversation between him and Sita. Sita tells Rama, Lord, See how peaceful this forest life is. All the Rishis, they are all having their Agnihotra Shala, and all their ashramas are laden with so much fruits, so much flowers, and there is the fragrance of peace everywhere. Compared to this forest life, living in the city, Ayodhya, is Naraka, it is hell. So why don't we live in this forest and live like these sages? Rama smiled. Sita said, Lord, you are able to infer where I am coming to? Then also Rama smiled. Sita said, Lord, please give up this bow and arrow. Let us lead a life of tapas, like these sages. Desha dharmastu pujyatam. This desha dharma, when you come to forest, when you come to the ashrama of Rishis, you should live like these Rishis. You should not carry your Kshatriya dharma to this forest. Then Rama smiled and said, Sita, when you speak this, if some wayfarer is going by this way, he will come and ask you, are you not the daughter of Janaka? Because only Sita, only a girl who is born for a jnani can speak like this. After telling that, after praising Sita's wisdom, Rama says, I am carrying this bow not for destruction, not for himsa, but for protecting these sages. I was born as a Kshatriya, I have to do this. And their Lord said, I may perhaps abandon Lakshmana. I might perhaps abandon you. I might perhaps give up my own life, but not the promise that I have given to Brahmanas, the sages. What Rama said came true in his life. He gave up Lakshmana, he gave up Sita, he gave up his own life. So the life of Kshatriya is for protection. So Lord wanted Arjuna to fight, not because fighting is good, but there was no way out. And Lord took the chariot to the war front, and there this Gita scene is being depicted. See, Bhagavad Gita starts with, I'm just giving you a small view of what that battlefield is, that Kurukshetra Bhumi. You know, Sanjaya only speaks to Dhritarashtra about Mahabharata war. So, first 10 days, this blind king did not ask what happened in the battlefield, because he was so sure that they are going to win. You know why? Because that great being, that old man, is still fighting, Bhishma. The war was for 18 days. This old man, 300 years old, you just imagine, he was fighting for 9 days. In the 18 days war, first 9 days is full of Bhishma, and the rest 9 days, the rest was swept, cleansed. So when all the first 10 days, Sanjaya was in the battlefield. He was looking at the war directly. On the 10th day, when Bhishma fell down, when that great big mountain collapsed, Sanjaya came back to Dhritarashtra and said, Lord, Bhishma has collapsed. Then Dhritarashtra could not believe. He thought that Bhishma can never fall. As long as Bhishma is there, victory is for us. That was his dream. That blind man had so much dream. His dream never came to an end, even after the war, even after the failure. In Bhagavatam says, after all his children died, still he continued to remain with the Pandavas, having breakfast, lunch, dinner, everything. Then he had a brother who was a great jnani, Vidura, who came back from the forest only for enlightening his elder brother. He said, brother, wake up. Death is approaching. You know what Bhima is giving you? Bhima was supplying food to Dhritarashtra. Vidura asked, you know what Bhima gave? Dhritarashtra said, why it is Italy? He said, this is not Italy, this is Pindam. Pitrupindam. Bhima pavarjidam pindam. Adate grihapalavat. Like a dog you are eating. Wake up. See, some strong pestle. Olakka. Vana adikirthukku. Mohamudgaram. Bhaja govindam. Bhaja govindam. Govindam bhaja moodhamate. Upanishad now, all the sages, they said, Saumya, oh beautiful one, dear child. Because the student was so receptive, so mature, with so much love, devotion. He was standing before the master, and master was just a konjindrinar, Shishyana. Saumya, beautiful one, darling. But here, Shankaracharya says, Moodhamate. Because after 90 years, sitting before the TV. That day he was studying Vyakarana or something. Now what we will say? Sitting before morning, if he sits, breakfast should come there, lunch should come there, dinner should come there, and one day that sofa set will break and fall. Till then, you sit before that television. It's television. So, moodhamate, you are wasting your life. You can meditate, you can worship the Lord, you can chant His name, you can read Bhagavad Gita, you can read the Upanishads, you can listen to satsanga, you can do puja. Many things you can do. The entire life should be made divine. And at this old age, wasting your life in useless things, reading nonsense, absurd things. Why don't you wake up? Uttishtata jagrata. So Vidura said to Dhritarashtra, who was blind outside and inside also. See, we will say Gandhari was a great pativrata. But what did she do? A devoted wife should at least help her blind husband. She also blindfolded her eyes. Is it devotion? Matruman, Pitruman, Acharyavan Veda. Children should have a mother to guide first, then father to discipline, then a master. These 100 children, starting with Duryodhana, neither had a mother to guide, nor had a father to discipline, and so they never listened to the teacher. They were heedless to the master. Because mother was not guiding, father was not giving them the necessary discipline. So this father, who is the representative of a ignorant jiva, blind, who is being guided by another blind woman, andhenaiva niyamanaha yatha anthaha. One blind person guiding another blind person, both will enter into enshrouding, blinding darkness. Andhenaiva niyamana yatha anthaha. So one blind person is guiding another blind person. Where will they land? So that is the story behind Mahabharata, that Dhritarashtra, who is holding to a Rashtra which is not his own. That is Dhritarashtra. That is our own name. We are holding to this world, this body, this mind which does not belong to us. Dhartam Rashtram. So that Dhritarashtra, even if he is being taught by someone, he will not listen. He got so much satsanga. He was someone who was blessed by innumerable contact with sages. It must have helped him imperceptibly. But Dhritarashtra was heedless. Outwardly, he could not follow. He himself says in Bhagavata that, Lord, I know all this teaching, but Lord is making me yo durvimarshapataya nijamaya yedam. That Lord's Maya is durvimarsha, inscrutable. Although I got so much satsanga, still I am not able to raise myself, reform myself. So this Dhritarashtra was waiting for Sanjaya to come and report to him what happened in Kurukshetra. So this Sanjaya rushes back to the king and tells him, Lord, Bhishma has fallen. You will wake up in your life only when some great calamity happens, which you never expected. When something happens like that, suddenly a shock is given. You are jolted. You wake up and you ask, is it possible that something like this will happen? If this is the case, what is the purpose of life? So here, Dhritarashtra all these days was not listening to Mahabharata, but now he asks, please tell me what happened in the war field. Dharma kshetre kurukshetre. I will just abridge that first chapter, that Vishada Yoga. I will not go by shloka. So Dhritarashtra is asking Sanjaya what happened in the battlefield. Dharma kshetre kurukshetre samavetaha yuyutsavaha mamakaha pandavashaiva kim akurvata Sanjaya. Oh Sanjaya, what did they do? All these days when Dharmaputra used to go and do namaskar to Dhritarashtra, he will say, you and Duryodhana are same to me. Both of you are same to me. But now, when the time comes, unconsciously, he is opening his heart and Dhritarashtra says, Mamakaha, my people, my relatives, and Pandava Shaiva. This Pandu's sons, what did they do? What happened in the battlefield? Dharma kshetre, kurukshetre. That Kurukshetra is Dharma kshetra. See, Gita starts with Dharma. And you know how it ends? What is the last verse? Yatra Yogeshwarah Krishnu Yatra Partho Dhanurdaraha Tatra Shrihi Vijayo Bhutihi Dhruva Nitir Matir Mama. So Gita ends with Mama and starts with dharma. So the entire Gita is mama dharma. It means mama dharma. Whoever reads Bhagavad Gita, he will find his dharma inside Gita. He will know how he should lead his life in Gita. You need not go to Bhashya or anything. Just do Parayana with simple meaning. Every day you will get something. Gandhiji used to say, Gita is my mother. Whenever I had some problem, I will open and I will find the answer there. And many have told like that. Many had their own commentaries. But for all of them, this Gita Mata, who is more compassionate than our physical mother. Shankaracharya says, Upanishad mother, the mother Shruti, she is 1,000 times more compassionate than our physical mother. Because our physical mother, the mother who gave birth to this body, she is Pujyatama, she should be worshipped. But she do not know how to rescue you from suffering. She can only wish good to you. But this mother knows what is really beneficent to you. What can make you free? So, this Shruti Janani, Matra Sahasrebhyaha api karunaya gariyase. She weighs more. She is more compassionate than 1,000 mothers put together. In Prashnopanishad, the disciples, they get Brahmavidya from the Guru. After receiving that knowledge, these disciples goes and do a big namaskara to Pippalada and tells him, Tvam naha pita. You are our father who rescued us from this shackle of ignorance. Tvam naha pita. There Shankaracharya tells, so Guru, Acharya is the father and Shruti is mother. So Guru is Shiva and the Upanishad is Uma, Parvati. So that Shiva Parvati, Matacha Parvati Devi Pita Devo Maheshwaraha, you have to just give a commentary to it. Shiva means Acharya and Uma, Parvati, that Ishwari, Sharada Parameshwari is Upanishad, that Brahma Vidya, the teaching which will rescue you. And the master who is carrying that Brahma Vidya in his heart is father. So a child is born, according to our Shastras, from 12 months of pregnancy. 2 months in the father's womb. We don't know father has a womb or not. And then 10 months in mother's womb. First, the father is holding it inside, then only he implants it in the woman, the mother. So, here the Acharya has to take the disciple inside him and give birth to him. So, this Acharya, Vasudeva, Krishna, Lord himself is Acharya here. Arjuna is the disciple. And before entering this Gita Shastra, you have many listeners. The first listener is Janamejaya. And the speaker is Vaishampayana. And then within that, there is Dhritarashtra asking and Sanjaya telling. And inside that, there is Arjuna asking and Krishna telling. Krishna is the speaker, Arjuna is the listener. Sanjaya is the narrator and Dhritarashtra is the listener. And Vaishampayana is the speaker and King Janamejaya is listening. And the whole epic came from that great being Vedavyasa. There is one verse which speaks about Vyasa as Vishnu, as Shiva, as Brahma. He is Vishnu without 4 hands. He has only 2 hands. Achatur Vadanu Brahma Aphalalochana Shambhu Dvibahur Aparo Harihi. He has only 2 hands. So he is Vishnu without 4 hands. He is Shiva without the 3rd eye. He is the Brahma without 4 heads. He only gave all the Puranas. So he, in one way, he was Brahma, because Brahma came from him, Shiva came from him, Vishnu came from him. So he is Shiva, he is Vishnu, he is Brahma. And this great sage, Vyasa, is ultimately behind this Bhagavad Gita. So Vyasa is Krishna. His name is Krishna. And Vasudeva, who is teaching Gita, he is also Krishna. And the listener Arjuna, his name is also Krishna. Arjuna is also Krishna. His name is Krishna. Draupadi is also Krishna. All the characters in Mahabharata, all the important characters are called Krishna. All of them were black. So they were called Krishna. Draupadi was black, so she was called Krishna. Lord was black, so he was called Krishna. Vyasa was black, so he was called Krishna. Arjuna was black, so he was called Krishna. But his name Arjuna means white. Ahasya Krishna Mahar Arjunam cha. The Veda says, in Rig Veda there is a mantra which says, Ahasya Krishna Mahar Arjunam cha. Ahaha means daytime. This Arjuna and Krishna both means daytime. Means light. Both have the same name. Arjuna also means Krishna or light. Krishna also means Arjuna. That means light. The Veda says Arjuna means light, Krishna means light. Ahasya Krishna Mahar Arjunam cha. So these are all just an introduction. I'm just clearing the road. Slowly we have to go inside. So, Bhagavad Gita we have started now. Tomorrow we will see what this Vishada Yoga means, because how to transform Vishada as yoga. And we have just given few drops or clues about it. Anything can be made yoga. Anything can become a stepping stone for you to abide in yogic state, yoga. So we will see how we can transform Vishada as yoga. How Lord did that alchemy. You know alchemy. Alchemy means there is a stone, Chintamani. With that, if you touch this iron rod, it will become gold. You don't ask me where you can get it. I don't know. So, this alchemy, spirituality is an alchemy where the master and the disciple, they have a contact. The moment that contact happens, the disciple has to get transformed. If he is not transformed, Kabir Das says, either the guru is not a Chintamani, or the disciple is not an iron rod, or the contact has not happened. So this alchemy, this rasavada, has to happen, which can transform Vishada. Vishada is another name for samsara. Vishada is not different from samsara. So, how to transform this samsara as nirvana? That is another way of putting it. How to transform this Vishada as nirvana is one way, and the another thing is how to transform this samsara, this worldly life. the life which we are living, because that is the only thing with which we are left with. How to make it gold? Gold is always a symbol of God. Upanishad says, Yatha pashyaf pashyate rukmavarnam karta ramesham purusham brahma yonim tatha vidvan punyapape vidhuya niranjanah paramam samyam upaiti. When a seer perceives that shining being, one who shines like gold, the Upanishad says, Suvarna Jyoti, he gets transformed. He abides in his real nature. Punyapape vidhuya, he gets relieved from sin and virtue. There is no equal word for punya in English. For papa it is there, sin. For punya there is no word. Virtue is not punya. Merit is not punya. So punya no word. Papa is very well known. Sin, sin, sin. All literature is full of sin. So sin is very well known, but punya is not known. But a knower of the self, punya pape vidhuya, he cleanses, he removes both punya and papa and becomes one with the Lord, one with the effulgence of the inner being. So, to have contact with that golden light, with the inner effulgence, with the effulgence of the self, to transform this vishada, this worldly life, the life which you are leading, your swadharma itself, as nirvana, as brahmanubhava. Ihaivatairjida sargaha. Gita says, nirvana is not a post-mortem experience. Here, while living in the physical body, in the world itself, jita sargaha, you escape from suffering, from creation, from birth, death. Esham samye sthitam manaha. When your mind remains in samasthiti, in yoga. Nirdosham hi samam brahma. Tasmad brahmanite sthitaha. One who attains that yoga, that samasthiti, he is established in Brahman, that we will see slowly. We had a general introduction today. So, we will start with Vishada Yoga, and in the Sankhya Yoga, slowly we will make a move. We don't know how many verses we can take. Wherever Lord makes us stop, there we will stop. And we will, if possible, continue next year. So, today we are stopping it here. See, language is not a problem. Whether it is English, whether it is Tamil. Tamil also I don't know. I will just speak that song. So, tomorrow evening we will continue Bhagavad Gita. Satyam jnanam anantam nityam anakasham paramakasham goshtha prangana ringana lolamanayasam paramayas kalpitananakaram bhuvanakaram shmamanathamanadham pranamata govindam paramanandam govindam paramanandam bhaja govindam paramanandam govindam paramanandam bhaja govindam paramanandam mritsnamatsiheti yashoda tadana shaishava santrasam vyaditava सर्वत्रालोकितलोकालोकचतुर्दशलोकालिं लोकत्रयपुरमूलस्तम्भं लोकालोकमनालोकं लोकेशं परमेशं प्रणमत गोविन्दं परमानन्दं गोविन्दं परमानन्दं भज गोविन्दं परमानन्दं भज गोविन्दं परमानन्दं त्रैविष्टपरिपुवीरघ्नं क्षितिभारघ्नं भवरोगघ्नं कैवल्यं नवनीताहारमनाहारं भुवनाहारं वैमल्यस्फुटचेतो विशेषाभासमनाभासं शैवं केवलशान्तं प्रणमत गोविन्दं गोविन्दं परमानन्दं भज गोविन्दं परमानन्दं गोविन्दं परमानन्दं भज गोविन्दं परमानन्दं यतो ममात्मा भवसि त्वमेव ततो न वाच्यं मम किञ्चिदस्ति यथा तवेष्टं कुरु मां तथैव त्वाम् आत्मनाथं रमणं भजामि।